Hi guys, it's Tracy in Australia and I have a quick flip through of a journal for you. This has a kind of very botanical and zoological sort of feel to it. It uses a kit from Luise Heinzl called Bunny Hugs, and I've also added in a few pages from Allegra, her botanical kit, and I'll leave details for both those kits in the description box. So this has a hardback cover repurposed from an old novel. I did actually make a new spine, and you can see that I've embossed that, and what I did was to make it look very distressed. I've added in some bits of muslin there to make it look like it's really kind of well used and falling apart. So my idea was that this was, say, a notebook that someone had for a long time and who loved looking at nature and just added things to it. So I've done some collaging on the front with bits and pieces, used a book plate. This one is from Kaisercraft, and put the word field notes into it. And as a tie, I've used this very soft leather thonging. It was what I had at home, because we're not allowed to go out here for anything other than essentials. And there's a garment pin with a couple of Tim Holtz tags. This one says found. So I kind of thought that was appropriate because, you know, this is what I had to hand, and that's what you would do if you were keeping a notebook and it started to fall apart and you needed to hold it together. So as I said, bit of collaging here, a few little flowers, some muslin, a little bit of dyed lace, and it measures 5 by 6.5. So 2 signatures. These are the original end papers, and I have created a false spine with some craft text that I've tea dyed. Okay, so I did add to the Luise Heinzl paper that I used for this first page, and I've added in a graphics fairy image and a little piece of an offcut. Everything's been tea dyed, and as I said, I wanted it to kind of look old, a little bit shabby and well loved. So I've made 2 pockets here. There's some stamping, some collaging, and added in some ephemera pieces. There's this gorgeous old photo of a little girl posing with some botanical field equipment and net, and I can't remember what these are called. And a little piece from the Allegra kit. So they just go in there with a little pin to hold them together. There's also a pocket there, and there's a little bit of old lace sewed to that. So I did use lots of script stamping and lots of little added pieces up the top here. So there's also here a garment pin with a couple of little beads on it. Did lots of collaging with little scrappy bits. I just really like the way that feels, and I thought it really went with the atmosphere that I was trying to create. So this page here, what I liked about the Luise Heinzl kit was the layering, how she has all these little pages. They're like stacked together, and there's little bits of tape and things like that, and I just really love how that looks. So into that I've just added a couple of pieces of ephemera and a little bit of stamping, a script stamp. A little bit of vintage music paper here. It's actually in German, and I've got some little tickets there. Some are stamped. Here I've made a little pocket. This is very grungy. There's a little bunny, and I just used an offcut to make a scrappy little book. Printed an old letter onto vellum, and here, in addition to the collaging of the little scraps, I've added some Tim Holtz die cut wildflowers. Again, just a few little offcuts, and create a little pocket and pop in a little piece that you could write on. I added like string to the tags. Again, I just thought that added to the whole feel. Here I made a little booklet, because when I was just running the printer to figure out what size pages I wanted to do, this one was too small, and so I've used that to make a little booklet, waste not, want not. Seam binding sewed on there, and you can tie that together. I also added, my husband is German, and these are pages from a very old book that he had as a child. I love the Gothic text, and he's kindly offered one up for me to use. So I did some decoupage there. Here I made a little pocket. I printed out the page twice, and I've added a little bit of interest by popping in a little piece of paper doily. I've ripped some parts out of the page and just put some paper doily in there. So it's like it's layered up. Graphics Fairy and a piece from the Allegra kit. And just folded those over and used some washi tape to put them together. Gorgeous doily that I was gifted, and I can't remember the name of the lady that did that, but I was the colours were perfect, and I've used some of those very thankfully in the journal. I think they look great. Finnebar stamp here. Again, it's got the German text. This is the center. I haven't added anything on there, but I may do a little stamp of a bunny and another tiny little one here. Just love the layering. And this is the other side of the page that I double printed, and I just popped a little piece in there, little pocket. Just added a couple of tags on, garment pin, and again some scrappy lace collage pieces. Here I love this image, double printed. This is a medieval drawing of a hare and an old German shipping ticket. The other piece of that doily. This pocket comes in the kit, and I've just used some Tim Holtz stamps there to make tickets. Another Tim Holtz stamp up here. I loved this page. I thought it was so sweet, and I wanted to do something different with it, so I printed it out and made it into a little piece that opens. And here I used Tim Holtz die cuts and coloured those, put them onto the an Allegra card, and just some other little bits and pieces. This one's from the Graphics Fairy. I love that. Plate of a hare. Used a stamp down here. This is the second signature. There's quite a space in between because I thought, you know, people might want to put their own things in, and I didn't want it to particularly flop open. To be one of those gator mouths, I didn't want it to do that. So here I did a little bit of layering again, just to add a little bit more to that. This was again a piece that I had over printed, and I just did some collaging to that. Card that I've made with an off-cut, again off-cuts, and I've stamped. This image is also from the Graphics Fairy. Again, one of the die cuts. And this is from the Allegra kit, and into it I've put some more die cuts so that you could use those to decorate pages if you liked. Just a scrap piece of paper, and I stamped a little bunny on it. Love this page. It's just gorgeous. This is one of the first pages that I made, and again this already in the actual page, it has this piece, and so I just ripped it out and put a little bit of paper doily behind it. And down here I've used, there was actually a picture of a wax seal, so I've actually used a real wax seal. And here, just a little tag, tied it on, a couple little tags, little labels there as well, just to make it more tactile. And on the other side is a pocket, put a card into that, little tuck spot created with one of the doilies. Again, collaging and then a piece of stamping. So here is a tiny little tuck pocket, and I've got a little offcut, and which has got some little tickets in it. And up here, like I said, I really loved this layering. So what I did was to create some layers and then put a little bit of vellum over that, and it tucks into this little piece here. Just fun, bit of fun. I love these tags. There were 2 of them. Again, the old German book pages. Here I used a doily, beautiful postcard. Oh no, that was fussy cut from a page that I'd printed out twice, and I just turned it into a postcard using Tim Holtz stamp. And here I just had this drawing, and I've fixed it on there with some washi tape. Love this page. I love that layering. So here, my husband also had, when he went through his German books, this was a poem from like one of his school books, and it's about a rabbit. So I've popped that in there with the picture that was with it. Used a doily, put a couple of tags in. So really enjoyed this one. I love the colours. I love all the botanical images. And this was a page that I'd printed out, and I've just made a little envelope and pop something in it. Tag from the Allegradigital. In fact, I think it's a page, and I've cut them down. And this was a pocket, and I've just cut it into a tag. Okay, there's my little flip through. I hope you've enjoyed it and that it has brightened your day a little. Stay safe, everyone, and I will talk to you again soon.